save it, guys. Yeah, this is gold.
The gift that keeps on giving.
I started recording. So.
Have you? Okay,
Your mate actually said the best part of the night was that bust up at the back.
Well, there's a fight there as well, where you guys.
We're all on mics now. Shane.
Okay.
All right, guys.
You can hear the sirens of Camberwell.
Yeah, we could hear sirens, right? Tight Men podcast, like back again. It's like me, Shane, Mike, Jas, Nav.
Hello.
I say me, I mean Ed. Yeah, yeah. So
Edward supports Arsenal, by the way. Just putting it out there.
From the mean streets of Camberwell.
Yeah. We're talking about football, like in light of the European finals, and I didn't really want to do this, but.
Well, we should start with the biggest game. You know, let's be fair. It was the Champions League final.
Yeah.
Tough one, Mike.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, it was an awful game from start to finish. I thought. I think Poch messed up massively with his initial team selection. I understand the feeling of starting Kane because of who he is to Tottenham and what he does and the goals and whatever. But how you can't drop a man that scored you a hat trick to get there. I think that's ridiculous. I mean, I was saying to Ed earlier, Ali's been awful for 2 or 3 months. Son's not really been there for the last couple of weeks of the season. So drop one of them two. I
actually got a thought on Ali because, I mean, not to automatically bring it back to the Arsenal-Chelsea game, which we'll come into in depth. But I mean, because Ozil got a lot of for a lot of shit, but Ali doesn't seem to get the same shit. Do you think it's just because he's English?
Yes.
Definitely. But I would agree.
No,
but
there is
also,
always an allowance for the English players.
I think the thing with Ozil.
Sterling.
Unless you're Sterling,
I think the thing with Ozil is that he's stealing a living as well. 350 grand a week. True. Is, you know, and Ali's on nowhere near that. He had that the first season that he came to Tottenham, I think it was like 22 goals and 15 assists or something that he had. It was really good. And then of course you then get all the donuts about he's going to be the second coming of Frank Lampard and all that. But I don't buy it.
How old is he now?
23.
Well,
22.
Well, Ozil's been there and done it. He's proven himself. That's why he gets the shit because
in the Premier League?
He's proven himself. He's won World Cups. He's proven himself at Real Madrid. Proven himself.
He didn't prove himself at Real Madrid.
Yeah, he helped them.
How did he?
Yeah, he was basically got the most assists. He was basically Ronaldo's like main assister when he was there, or main setter. I can't even get what's the
setter
word?
upper.
Yeah, setter upper. I can't
but Peter Crouch was Van der Vaart's main setter upper.
Yeah, but so Van der Vaart didn't score like 40 goals, did he? Like Ronaldo scored like 40 plus goals.
They was all set up by Ozil?
The majority was set up by Ozil.
No,
Ozil proved himself.
That's fine. But you only have to read Mourinho's book about Ozil, and that'll tell you everything you need to know.
But still, I don't think that's the reason. I think the reason.
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
The reason he doesn't get stick is because he's English. Because to bring it back to my team, United. Paul Pogba and Martial are blamed for the bad season, but if you look at Phil Jones,
wait, sorry to cut you off, Shane. They were talking about European finals. Just.
I'll wear it. I don't mind.
No, you said bring it back to my team, but everyone, when you started talking, everyone just looking at each other. Like, what the fuck? Like,
no, but I mean, we were discussing the point that I do feel that the only reason why Ali doesn't get as much stick is because he's English. We do it in this country all the time.
But he does get a lot. He gets a lot of stick from Tottenham fans. Yeah, he actually does.
Does he get any stick from the media?
No, but forget the media. But Sterling gets loads of stick from the media, and he doesn't deserve it. But this is what. Forget the media. The media are full of shit anyway. As a Tottenham fan, I can't see him being anything more than he already is. I don't think he's the second coming of one of England's greatest ever midfielders, like Frank Lampard, that people were saying. It's just ridiculous. I don't think he's going to be on Steven Gerrard's level. I think he is what he is.
I feel the same about Rashford, to be fair.
Do you think it's a penalty? I heard there's a bit of contention. Yeah, was that?
I think it was.
What was it? A handball? Was
it? His arm wasn't by his body.
Yeah, his arm was up because what he was doing, where they do that classic, they point for another player.
Doing Saturday Night Fever, wasn't he?
To go and close down. That's what it is. If you've got an overlap, so Sissoko's going to go and close the ball, and he's probably pointing at Trippier to go and shut off the run or whatever. And so his arm's up here, and it's hit him underneath his his tit area, and then the underneath of his arm. In Europe, you'll get that. Well. Yeah, you'll get that in Europe. You will do. But 20 seconds in. But you can't legislate for things like that. I mean, you can't prepare for a penalty in 20 seconds in.
Yeah.
But even then, Tottenham. The thing that annoyed me the most is that I thought Liverpool probably played the crappiest game of their season, and we just didn't capitalise on it at all.
I was going to say that I actually think the early penalty was almost, I was wondering whether it was going to be a curse actually, because they looked like they were playing for the 1-0. Like after a couple of minutes, they were like cagey and they just sort of, I don't know, they're waiting for the final whistle.
What was the score last year when for Madrid?
3-1.
3-1. Maybe
3-1.
afterwards they wanted to be a bit more.
Yeah, and that's I think a lot. He almost went a bit Italian, Klopp, and he was trying to shut the game out, and we just couldn't. As the game went on, we had a few chances. Alisson made some good saves, but never really did I think we were going to score.
Yeah.
I never got the feeling that although we were like, if you want to be the statistics guy, like Edward with Ozil and blah, blah, blah. But, we had a lot of possession. Yeah. We had more, I think it was like 66% possession we had or whatever it was throughout the game.
I think the gap between the end of the season and the European League finals, because even in the Chelsea-Arsenal game, again, we're going to get to that in depth, but like the first half was kind of slow. And like
there was a lot of chat about that though, actually, because it's 3 weeks since they played, and like, there was no intensity at the beginning, and then plus all the nerves and the build-up and everything, you can see how it affects the game.
But Carragher was saying that it worked in our favour because it allowed people like Winks and Kane to get fit, but they're not fit. Yeah, all right, they're not carrying injuries, but they're not match fit. They're not. So, like I say, would I have started Winks? No. I mean, the three names in that team sheet that I probably would not have started would have been Trippier would have been the first one that I would have dropped.
Who would you put in place of Trippier though?
Well, Aurier was fit, or
so him start over Trippier.
Well, yeah, or play Foyth because I know he's a centre half, but he's like free the last. A couple of games towards the end of the season, he played him at right back, and he was really good. He's played really good, so play him there. But Trippier, if you look at the second leg of the City game, everything came down our right hand side. Sterling, those 2 goals, everything they went for Trippier because they knew he was our weak link. Ajax done the same thing.
He's not great defensive. He's great going forward. And he can swing in across, but I don't think he's his defensive play is shit.
I wouldn't have played Winks because again he had groin surgery, so he's not going to be match fit. I wouldn't have played him, and it just goes to show that he was substituted after 62 minutes. So, and Kane, I wouldn't have played Kane either. I wouldn't have started Kane. I
think Matip, when I saw him in the starting line for Liverpool, I thought, okay, Tottenham might. Well, Kane against Matip, like he's obviously their weak link as well. But thought he would have done a bit more.
I know, but I mean,
he fouled him in the first half, didn't he?
There's a reason that Van Dijk was all over Kane. I mean, Van Dijk just man-marked him out of the game.
He does that with everyone, though.
He does, but I mean, it's just and he's not fit. He's nowhere near 100% fit. And you can understand. I mean, if it was me, I would want to play as well. You would, wouldn't you? Yeah. Champions League final. You don't know if you're going to get there again anytime soon. So.
The other thing about keeping Kane on the bench would have been if they did go 1-0 down, it'd give him another dimension to bring him on. Because I think having started him, he couldn't then take him off. Like, I think if you brought him off, you'd have got a lot of stick for saying, why are you taking off Kane when you need goals?
What's your guys' thoughts on the streaker?
She was what?
She was right, yeah.
I haven't actually seen her. I was trying to look at it.
I didn't actually watch the game, but I know about that. So that was right, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice standard of streaker they've got over there in Spain, isn't it, I suppose? I think she's Slovakian, though, or something. I think. I don't know. Or is her boyfriend's a Slovakian YouTuber or something or other.
What was she streaking about? What was she protesting?
I think it was just self-promotion.
Yeah.
She just wanted to show her bikini.
I think that's how we need to get more followers.
Okay.
I nominate you, Ed.
Type in UK streaker.
Well, Mike, he goes to the gym a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, Mike. You can run out onto but he'll get a lifetime ban. He can't do that.
Yeah, I won't be doing that.
Do it at someone else's stadium or something like that.
No, but you still get a lifetime ban.
What, for all games?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? All right.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, a cricket game.
Because with my son plays cricket, so I won't do it on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But he talking about those lifetime bans, there was 3. I don't know whether we discussed this already, but there was 3 Tottenham fans that have had their season tickets revoked and lifetime bans from the stadium because they were selling their final tickets for, I think it was between $7,000 and the most expensive one was £15,000.
Okay.
So Tottenham obviously have found out about it and they've revoked their season tickets and lifetime ban.
It's all right if they got the $15,000, it's worth it.
I don't think they sold them.
I didn't get to say.
I don't think they sold them. I think it was flagged up somewhere that they was trying to sell them for. I mean, $15,000.
Yeah. Well, imagine like once in a lifetime, probably thinking Spurs fans.
Yeah. but
even that slide dig.
No, it's true. Though. It's true. It's
it
like-
might be. It might be a once in a
but
lifetime. You never know.
so far in the history of Tottenham, it's
Yeah.
same with Arsenal. Like how many years ago? Like it's happened once, isn't it?
Did you get to it? You got to a final, got beaten by Barcelona.
Yeah.
Was that 15 years ago? That was the Invincible season, wasn't it?
13 years ago. Yeah.
Was that the Invincible
No, it was
season?
2 seasons after.
It's all right.
was it?
We've been raped by Barcelona on multiple occasions. It's fine.
All right, cool. Yeah, taking it to a step level. Like, I didn't even say that right, but never mind. Yeah.
The step level.
Yeah, I know. Let's let it go, Mike.
It's a builder's
Let-
tool.
let
It's a
it-
step level.
Let it go, Mike. Let it go.
All right, sorry. Right, anyway, so should we talk about the
Is that enough?
lesser European
is
final?
that enough? Was that enough? Like Champions League final?
Stop trying to avoid it.
I mean, what else is there to say? I don't know. I mean,
Do you think there's any? I mean, like in terms of Pochettino.
Yeah, that's what I was
Tottenham,
going to ask.
any-
Do you think he'll get the backing? Do you think he'll?
I think he will. I think he will. The general rumor is that we're going to have quite a lot of money to spend this summer. Apparently, Eriksen is a done deal
To who?
to Real Madrid. They reckon it's between 75 and 85 million that he's going for, because apparently Pogba's too expensive.
How old is Eriksen
Apparently.
again?
27.
Okay.
Hazard at 106 is a bargain then if Eriksen's 75.
See again.
No, but it's just because the contract
Yeah, I
isn't
know,
it? 1
I
year
know,
left.
but-
Again, obviously Hazard's worth way more.
Yeah,
than
yeah.
that.
I think
Yeah,
Tottenham. I think Tottenham's spend does hinge on what they sell, because again, I still don't see where you're going to magic all this money from. So I reckon it does hinge on what. players
Yeah,
you
but
can
they
get.
reckon what the figure is 150 million.
That's
because
not
we
too
made
low. That's-
because we made I think it was 102 million euros get into the Champions League final,
Right.
and then I think it was another 8 or 9 million to win it. So,
Yeah.
so I think you made that already, and then the TV deal,
Yeah.
TV
It's
rights,
just-
all that.
yeah,
So I think the initial figure is somewhere between 120 and 150.
All right.
Is his transfer budget?
But the
is
problem
what
that
he's
I
been
have
given.
with it, there's multiple aspects to this, and there's multiple situations at play. The biggest one that you've got is Mr. Levy. I just don't feel that spending all that money on a stadium, that he's just going to say, right, let's start splashing.
But I think this is no. But I think this has all been in the works. I think it's all been in the plan.
I do think you'll be able to spend the money that you recoup from sales, but I don't know if he's going to be putting in a massive investment.
Yeah,
after
no, there
the
is a
stadium.
transfer budget there.
Yeah.
There is a transfer budget there, and then it's what? So you're talking, like I say, I think Eriksen's going to be the biggest one.
Yeah.
But then Trippier apparently is going to Napoli for 40 million.
All right.
Which is a bargain.
Really? Yeah.
Mate, I'd drive him there myself. 100%.
Do you know what? He only had like 3 bad games, and all of a sudden Trippier's like stock. But
3 bad
he had
games?
about 3 bad games.
No, Shane, he's had a bad season.
No, I'm not saying
He's had a
that
whole
that's
bad
all he had.
season.
I'm saying until his stock just plummeted. It was like he had 3 bad games, and it was like, right, Trippier's shit.
But it
and
was
then
just
he continued being great. I get that, but
if we did we record before the World Cup? We didn't, did we?
I don't think
No.
so.
But I've been saying since before the World Cup that he is a toilet defender.
He is
not
bad.
a very good
He is
right
bad
back.
going back.
And then all of a sudden he turned up at the World Cup and he was like the second coming of Cafu, and everyone thought, oh my God, he's amazing. It's like he's like David Beckham at right back.
I loved
all this
Cafu, by the
rubbish.
way. Cafu
and then
was an
and then he
awesome
goes
right
and
back.
slams a free kick into the top corner in the semi-final, and again it's like, oh my God, this guy's amazing.
I suppose
But he
that's
isn't.
due to Carl Walker leaving, and you guys
Yeah.
not really missing him that much, I guess, isn't it?
Well, I suppose. But
But then I think Carl Walker's suspect going
Overrated.
back as well. Yeah.
Overrated.
overrated.
He's
That's
so
the mold of
suspect.
defenders now, isn't it? It's not so much about your defending.
See, I used to think that. I used to think that until I started watching Luke Shaw, and then I thought, fuck, this guy can't go
Back
back.
to United, yeah.
Well, it's obviously.
We're talking about European final.
I have to justify what I'm saying based on my
Bloody hell,
experiences.
Shane.
Like, come on. But no, I used to think the same thing, Nav. And yeah, the modern winger needs to be able to go forward, but a lot of them, you're seeing like a lot of weaknesses going back, and it's like, first and foremost, I know it is your job to overlap, but you need to be able to defend. That is literally
He's too fat to overlap. So when he gets
Who,
all the way
Luke
out
Shaw?
there, when he gets all the way out there, he can't get back in
Again,
time.
he won.
That's like me running up and down the wing.
He won our
It's
Player
like-
of the Season. I think that was absolutely wrong, only because he's English. I'm telling you.
But he's one Player of the Season in a team that's conceded the most amount of goals
Yeah.
in its history of the
And he's a
Premier League.
defender.
Most
How has he won it? I
in
don't
their
get
history.
it.
Most of
In that this season
Yeah.
was the most amount of goals they've ever conceded in the Premier League.
Wow, okay.
And he won Player of the Season.
Indeed.
A left back.
Thank you, and it's because he's English.
Actually, to be fair, I think that's what with Chelsea. Now let's just move on then. But I was just going to say, but like I was just thinking about what you just said, Shane, and you're right, because Alonso, he's just had a terrible season, but going forward, but then that's why you bring in Emerson, who can do a bit of both, innit, Jazz?
I don't think
like him?
I don't like Alonso going back either. Honestly, I think he had one good season.
Yeah.
And I think he's.
Is that when you won the title with Conte?
Yeah.
He was
The
good
first
that
time
season.
he came, because everyone was like, "Where's?"
Because then Victor Moses was on the other side.
Yeah, and we brought him back. He came in from Real Madrid, 25 million or something. It was a bit
Is he Spanish
random.
or Italian?
Spanish. Yeah, and I think he impressed everyone because it was low expectations. But his
because he was at Bolton before, wasn't he?
yeah.
Isn't Victor Moses a transfer target for Inter at the moment because of Conte?
Maybe, but we're not selling anyone.
I suppose it'll be really bad for you to do that. Yeah, you can still sell though, can't you? You just can't buy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you're not even using Moses, are you?
He's on loan.
He was on loan.
Stoke? No,
He was on loan.
He was out on loan.
Well-
No, he's in Europe somewhere, isn't he?
Victor
I'm
Moses?
sure. Is it Fenerbahce or something like that? Turkey.
Might be,
Yeah.
Since when?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
This whole season he's been
Really?
out on loan. Yeah.
I
Doesn't fit
don't
into Sarri's
understand why.
system.
Like Victor Moses has never been bad for Chelsea. I don't understand why he just doesn't get a
Sarri
chance.
has no flexibility.
Yeah.
No, but I kind of agree with it though, Jazz.
Do you?
Where would you put Victor Moses? In that
Well,
Sarri-
I wouldn't mind. You could put Aspilicueta back to the left-hand side.
No, but then Emerson's good there. You know what I mean? You
No,
want
but I think
I like Aspilicueta's.
I think Victor Moses is very suited to a wing-back role.
Exactly.
And if
Yeah.
you're not going to play free at the back,
Exactly.
then, yeah.
He maybe he gives you something different in midfield though. I don't know.
Well, I suppose you get options. isn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly. Like, I just think we're too one-dimensional. Like, we should have an option of having two wide men sometimes. Like when you need to break someone down.
I think that should be every manager's plan B. Two wingers. As in turn it into a good old-fashioned stretch the game.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do
just
with our
have
team.
have a
right,
left
yeah.
footer on the left-hand side and a right footer on the right.
No one plays with traditional wingers
That's what-
anymore.
but why
Everyone's
is-
inverted
Old
forwards
school
now, aren't
proper
they?
football.
No, but that's not...
Well,
no, but
everyone
I'm
plays
saying,
with inverted forwards.
as a
don't they?
as a
They don't
plan
really
B,
play
why is that not every manager's plan B?
I think when you're playing teams like Arsenal, you don't need a plan B.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's get on to the result then. What was the score again?
Fuck you now.
No, but I'm just saying though.
3, 2, 4.
Was it 4?
Was it 4-1?
Is it
Wow.
well, is it just
Oh.
plan A often works? Yeah. So just turn up and
No,
play.
you had to do something because first half we kind of controlled it. I think.
That's
You
stretching a
did
bit.
win the first half, Ed. Well done.
Yeah, well done.
What
Was
time?
it 0-0? Was it?
What time's the parade?
This is going to be a long podcast. I can tell. Yeah.
I actually don't think that's true. I think Emma, we had the cleanest shot with Emerson.
We did,
actually,
we did, yeah,
and then we crazy. I mean,
I
it's
just think
so
the first half was. I mean, it was what it was, wasn't it? I thought it wasn't really. Yeah, I didn't really think anyone dominated that first. I mean, did you have any clear-cut chances in the first half?
It was Xhaka's like long range, but
yeah.
but I
Do
think
you know what the thing is with that one? That actually clipped the top of the crossbar. I didn't realise until the replay showed it.
Yeah, so not clear-cut chances.
Yeah. I mean, it was something from.
But no, I mean, really. When I say clear-cut, you know what I mean. I mean, like we're talking like a Lacazette one-on-one type thing, or
I also
anything.
don't know about clear cut chances.
but like
I'm just saying though.
our striker was joint top scorer in the league. So what are you talking about?
Joint.
Yeah, exactly. With two Liverpool players, you know Liverpool, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying. Anyway, back.
Yeah, that was the premium European final.
Yeah, no,
wasn't it?
yeah,
yeah,
true.
yeah,
But you lost
yeah.
as well. As well.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We never got smashed though.
Well,
Yeah,
you did. Well, you didn't
It
really
is
turn
good
up,
for the
did
Premier
you?
League, though.
Yeah, but I mean, you did turn up and got smashed. So, you know what I mean? You actually, and it was literally you played your hearts out
Yeah,
for
they tried their
because
arse off.
it was your only shot at Champions League football. And the ironic thing is that Chelsea couldn't really give two shits because they already had Champions League football and they still put 4 past.
100%.
That's like the
spot on,
worst
Mike.
bit.
No, I think like we bottled it in the second half. We bottled
That's
it. You know?
unlike Arsenal.
Yeah, that's strange.
Fuck you, Jazz.
No,
Again, you've had everything handed to you from the
that old chestnut. Eh?
but it's true. It's true.
You are so
It's
shit.
true. It's true. Like,
I wanted to do a topic actually. What is the point of Arsenal Football Club? As in, like, seriously, what is the point of them? Like, what do they do? What is it? What is Arsenal Football Club? Just tell me, please. It's not to win shit.
we're
Is it?
about doing things the right way. You know?
Well, what is that?
Like not using dirty money to get success.
Just not using money full stop.
Yeah.
Get back to whatever you
Ed, let me ask
We
you.
use money.
Let me ask you a question, right? Let's fast forward 18 months and let's say that this summer some Kuwaiti billionaire royal family member comes in and buys Arsenal, yeah, and he throws his cash around and buys whoever he buys, and next season you win the league and win the Europa League. I was going to say Champions League, but you win the league, you win the Europa League. Would you grumble this time in a year? So 12 months from now, would you be sat here grumbling?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
No, what would happen
Edward,
is...
no, you wouldn't.
What would happen is Edward would say, well, if we said, oh, but you used dirty money, and say, oh, but you lot did, then it would be...
But you did it first.
Edward would try and argue that whoever took over, he's got clean money. Like, even if that was it, the Sheikh's cousin is trying to buy Newcastle or something. Even if that guy came over and bought Arsenal, he'd be like, no, it's completely different.
No, I don't like that way of doing it. I really don't.
But if it happened, and you're stood on at Finsbury Park watching the parade, would you be stood there going, or would you boycott the parade and not go?
I don't know. Maybe. You know?
Would you boycott a Champions League final?
See, not me, to be quite honest.
I don't know.
I agree with you. I'd prefer it done the way without dirty money. But
Everyone would prefer it done that way.
But in today's climate, especially if Sheikh Mansour's cousin takes over at Newcastle, we need some sort of level pegging. So, fuck it.
I think
bring the
for
dirty money
me,
in.
I'd be like the Man City fans who are kind of like, yeah, it's not really our city. Like they turn up sometimes, but they're not really. Not like Chelsea fans who are like they don't really care. It's like, I don't know. They don't really have. There's no real. I think there's no morality.
No, but I think Nav's attitude to it is I just think it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and it shuts down every argument.
No, but
it's just like, yeah, so what?
No, but it shuts it.
Because I tell you why.
Wait,
Because you're going to say the same thing you've just said.
No. Just a response to Mike.
Go on, let him finish.
Just a response to Mike. Yeah, like it shuts it down because when he says "so what," you kind of like, how the fuck does someone how does someone have that position? So what?
Because I genuinely feel that would be 90% of football fans.
That doesn't mean it's right though.
I'm not saying it's right. No, listen, everyone would like to do it the right way. Everyone, like if we had won the Champions League last night, then you could sit there and say Tottenham have done it the right way.
Yeah.
They've not spent a lot of money, or barely any money.
Yeah.
And they've produced players, and and
your manager's developed players.
Yeah, and they've developed footballers and that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if in the summer a billionaire comes and buys Tottenham, and we bring back Gareth Bale, for instance, on £500 a week, and all this sort of stuff, and we do that, and then we go and win the league next year. Do you think I'm going to sit here and grumble?
Are you going to be shameless like Nav though? Just be like, fuck it. Why not?
I would probably sit here, and yeah, I would, just to get up your tailpipe, because I know it would fuck you right off.
It's not even that, Mike.
Just to fuck me up.
So your idea of the right way, I mean, is entirely fabricated on this concept of, I'm going to take the moral high ground, when there is no such thing. If that was the case, then no club would be up for sale. There wouldn't even be a transfer market. The fact that there's even a transfer market suggests money's part of the game.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So if you're talking like that, then why would any club be up for sale? Surely it should be part of the community and all of that.
And beyond that,
it makes no sense.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier. Like, is there any it's no coincidence that historically the biggest clubs in the UK have all been from like the wealthiest areas, like historically speaking, like Liverpool, Manchester, Villa, like they've all been from like industrial big cities. Yeah, Nottingham was they're all like big industrial places historically.
And so look at the property market like Kensington.
Exactly, money has always been a part of football. It's just now it's on steroids, and it's in a lot more obvious global way. But I think it's a nonsense to say that there's the right way and the wrong way.
I think a lot.
I don't know.
I think a lot of it is jealousy. I do. I'm not just
actually, you could think that, but yeah.
I'm not just talking about you personally.
I am.
I'm just talking. I'm talking about in general. I think there's a lot. I mean, you look at the negative press that Blackburn Rovers got because realistically they done it first.
They bought
the league first, yeah. And they got a lot of bad press.
But just to they bought the league, yeah. So Chelsea bought the league as well. You're saying, and Man City have bought the league as well.
It's so weird. I don't have this sort of envy and jealousy of Man City. I genuinely don't.
Not at all. Yeah.
And sometimes you use this phrase, "We've ruined football." I think, if anything, football's better than it's ever been. We probably had the greatest Champions League. I said Chelsea obviously wasn't part of that, but that whole tournament was fantastic. The greatest league, I'd say. Again, Chelsea's not part of that. It's just made everyone get better. And if you look at the history of when Chelsea took over, at that time it was a sort of a duopoly between United and Arsenal. And you look at how Ferguson reacted to the Chelsea takeover. He didn't bitch, he didn't moan.
No, he
they
evolved.
got better, they evolved, they got better. Whereas Arsenal went into this sort of depression, and the whole club went down, and they just finished since then.
Yeah, but you can't.
That is a bit- that's
it's
true,
kind
that
of
is
glazing
true.
over the fact that we paid for a new stadium and we were hamstrung financially, so we couldn't
You've
really.
just got a perfect example here. Tottenham have literally done the exact same thing.
they
They've reached the
finance
Champions
theirs
League final.
differently, though. They finance differently.
Well, then that's on you, then. Isn't
There
it?
is it, but I think to agree with Ed slightly is that there was a lot more money. There's a lot more money in football now than there was when
especially
when the
the TV.
Emirates
There's no
was
TV.
done.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, there was disadvantages there, but you can't say you weren't on the decline before that.
Before the stadium.
But like slightly, you weren't going the right. I mean, when the stadium was, I don't know exactly when the stadium was finished. How long before that had you won the league?
I think so. We moved in. I think maybe 2007, 2008, and I think we
And
won the
the-
league 2004.
Oh, so yeah, it's like 4 years.
Yeah, but that's because of Chelsea came up. Yeah, Chelsea came.
No, but so the point that he's made about you, Arsenal was a football club going into like a sulk, was way before you built the stadium.
No, yeah, but we still had to pay for the stadium. We still had to pay.
But the stadium was 4 years in the making.
But we still had to pay for the stadium.
How long did it take to build it? Only 2 years.
But like but we already planned everything before Chelsea were bought, and then
But what, you know that?
yeah, everything was. We were talking about the stadium. We were talking about the stadium for ages. You've been talking about the stadium for ages. haven't you?
Yeah. But I don't think any funds were like left his pocket. I mean, I don't know, but you're talking 4 years. It took 2 years to build. So when the first brick was laid, it took 2 years. Yeah, before you moved in.
To be honest, like this is stuff.
So
I don't
2
really know.
years.
This
It
is
was
stuff I
two.
don't really know.
It was.
Wasn't there a whole thing when they bought Ozil that it was like, okay, the sort of
Yeah,
Arsenal
no, yeah.
self-imposed austerity is over.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
going to
exactly.
be big spenders
No, it's
now.
true, and Sanchez as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah, no,
then,
fuck all since
then
then.
Kroenke came in and bought up the majority
Yeah,
share
yeah.
and thought, right, I'm not investing anything.
But,
But
I also think it was Wenger had an idea at the time, like about buying. I'm struggling for examples, but always buying like someone for 30 million instead of 50 million because he thought he could like lift them up, and it just didn't work. Arsenal spent so much money on.
He lived off the back of Henry for many years,
Yeah,
didn't
exactly. He's always looking for the next Henry,
Yeah.
and it just didn't work. You ended up buying 3 or 4 players for 20, 30 million each when you could have just gone and bought someone for 80
No,
million.
that's
and
true. Like the market changed as well. Like,
it's
the
exactly,
market
yeah,
did change.
and football caught up with Wenger. I mean,
Do you reckon Wenger was at the Europa League final? I'm just saying. I wish he was, mate. I mean, yeah. There's
probably
his vision
was.
come to life.
He probably was
on.
there, wasn't he? He must have been.
what game was beIN Sport having both Mourinho
That
and
was the
Wenger on?
Champions League final.
That was a Champions League
Yeah.
final. Oh, right, okay. They were sitting there.
That must have been tension there.
Yeah, I know, but they said I saw them smiling.
No, but I think they are. I think behind closed doors, I think they're friendly.
yeah.
Though,
Well,
aren't
it's
they?
like
They're not-
Wenger and Ferguson. In the media, used to hate each other, but they used to meet up.
But
for
Ferguson
wine.
said that. Ferguson said it all along. He said, like, in front of the cameras, Mourinho's basically a knob. But when they get into the office, he's a perfect gentleman, lovely guy. He's just.
But I suppose also with Wenger and Ferguson, like
They were great
classic Premier League rivalry, like really the most meaningful.
I don't know about that.
The most meaningful like Premier League
Of our
rivalry.
generation, I will agree.
Yeah. But like,
You have to agree with
I
that.
don't disagree. I just like the way he's saying
such
it.
a funny place to look for victory. But Wenger, he had the best socks. He was a fashion icon with
Yeah,
his jacket.
great blazer,
There was a
that
competition.
fitting
for-
blazer,
yeah.
I don't disagree with you, Jazz.
It was the moral victory that we've all
I
been
don't disagree
craving.
with you, Jazz.
Nice
It was.
trophies
It
there
was.
with that.
And it is true because he's just sat there grinning when he's saying it.
I'm laughing at all of you, like, and you're like ridiculous, like.
Yeah, the trophies, all those ridiculous trophies. Yeah.
I don't disagree. I don't. What you're saying is true. Of our generation, the managerial rivalry was Wenger and
But
Fergie.
the point I was making was that, like, when the rivalry was at its peak, they weren't friends.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, so like, I suppose Mourinho and Wenger as well. Rivalry at the peak, they weren't friends. Now they're both out of the job.
You got it right with that specialist in failure thing, though. Isn't it?
Didn't he? I think he won the FA Cup the season he said that, and then Mourinho got sacked. So I don't think he did. So yeah,
3 Premier League titles. Though.
yeah.
I don't know. I kind of do feel Mourinho's done now, though.
Yeah, Mourinho's done.
I think
yeah.
I'd be interested to see what he does.
Would be very
I don't
interesting.
think he'll get another top job.
If he goes, if
think
he gets a
PSG
job in
would, yeah.
I'd get into it.
Italy or France, he could probably do
Tuchel
something there.
has just signed a new deal, hasn't he?
Yeah, Tuchel.
At PSG, yeah. And obviously Conte's taken over at Inter.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good.
I think-
I'm actually surprised United or even Arsenal wouldn't have gone for Conte, because it's like he literally comes here, wins the league, no problem. Next season wins the FA Cup.
Yeah, but he destroyed that. Like
It was Costa. I didn't like his relationship with Costa
and
and
also
David
he's
Luiz.
a fractious
He's my way or the highway.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
But also, I think United always look for long. I know we haven't been doing it since Ferguson left, but in the managerial appointments that they do make, they are looking for longevity. And people like Conte.
I just think that's.
Well, Mourinho was the first quick fix for us because it was like, shit, we've not won anything for
Am
so
I the
long.
only one who thinks
Get
that
someone in.
that's a myth?
What?
About this longevity thing.
It's dead
Don't
now.
you think that's a myth?
It's dead now.
I only think
for it. Like,
I only think that's come about because Fergie was there for 25 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's the right way to approach it. All I'm saying is that's what the board, obviously, that's their intention when we're going to look at this appointment as some sort of longevity.
But Conte is not necessarily he's not necessarily a short term. I think it's just Chelsea generally managers are short term.
But I think all of his
he might be. Well, I think Juve he was there for quite a while. And then Italian
How long
manager,
was he there for? 3 years?
Maybe 4 years. That's not.
Yeah, he only left.
That's
He
a
only
short-term
left
thing.
Juve for the Italy
Yeah,
job, wasn't it?
yeah.
That was it. It wasn't sacked or anything.
The thing I heard about at Chelsea though is that his training methods were so intense that like after 2 years you're just exhausted of him. Like and Mourinho as well. Like the kind of mind games, it's just the intensity of the way he sort of physically and mentally manages or coaches. It's just too much. It breaks after 2 years.
I heard that actually about Real Madrid when Mourinho was there, when they won the league, because Barcelona was so dominant. Mourinho, I thought it was really impressive that he won the league with that Madrid team, with Barca being so dominant.
Pep was there still as well.
Yeah, Pep was there as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then all the players said the next season they were just done. You know,
They were
what I mean?
just
Like,
finished.
just finished. Yeah, it's just you just put so much into that
Yeah.
season. And I actually think Ancelotti had a similar criticism because he would. When at Chelsea, when we were going through that tough period, he would just double the trainings and double, but
Yeah.
all the players were just done. Like,
But I think that was a weird. That was a weird one-off thing though. 'Cause
Yeah.
Ancelotti seems a lot more chilled. Than,
he's a good manager.
I love Ancelotti. I'm
I know.
sorry, but I really
I like
do.
him.
I adore Ancelotti.
He might be one if Sarri goes.
Is he
Yeah,
still
I
one?
don't know,
Is he
man.
still one
He's
of
at
those
Napoli,
top
isn't he?
managers?
Yeah.
Because Napoli is not really it's not as prestigious a role as say.
But they imploded towards the end of the season as well, didn't they, Napoli?
This year.
Yeah,
did they?
this year. Yeah, they done really badly.
Is he still? But like say there's top level, like say Mourinho, like
It was all of the
I
racism
guess
with
Klopp.
Koulibaly, wasn't it?
It's
Koulibaly at
There's
Napoli,
top
isn't
managers
it?
that go around to every club. Like
I don't think I'd agree with you. I think maybe Ancelotti slipped out.
like
of that
Mourinho
role, yeah.
kind
Did
of.
did Bayern Munich win the league in the end?
Under
think
Ancelotti
so.
or this season?
No, this
No, this season, yeah, I
They
think
won a
they
double.
win.
I think they won a double.
Did they?
He was. I can't remember.
Nico.
Kovac.
Kovac,
Yeah,
like
he's an
Frankfurt
ex-player.
last-
He was an ex-player.
I
there
heard
as
they
well.
want to sack it.
But see, that could be one for Mourinho.
I heard they want to sack. Why would you want to sack him?
Yeah.
He wants to go to
Easy
Germany.
job.
I think.
And it's another country.
Yeah, he was learning German. I heard in an interview a few months ago. I think he was saying that when it looked like Dortmund were going to win the league, and now Bayern won it. I guess.
Yeah, but they weren't they like 14 points clear at Christmas?
Who, Dortmund?
Dortmund.
Yeah.
And they absolutely
Yeah.
they came to us
Yeah.
in the Champions League and we beat them, and then that was it. They won like 4 games
To be
after
fair, I
that.
think they were on a slide before that, but not to like
All
not
right,
to ruin
fine.
your like.
Yeah, well, it is to ruin it. It's fine.
just to be real, just to
So
be.
what's your
it's
thoughts
fine,
on Emery then?
It's because
As
you
in,
keep
like,
smirking again.
no,
It's
no.
fine, yeah.
Let's bring it back to Arsenal. And so this season again,
Yeah, I'm
1-0.
happy to talk about Arsenal.
No. Yeah. So what's your thoughts then? Are you happy with the season? Are you happy with Emery?
It's a mixed bag, to be honest. Like I can see there was some progress on the pitch, and even with the signings we made at the beginning of the season, like there's clear like deficiencies that like people have been saying for years, like a strong tackling midfielder, maybe some hardness at the back, and I suppose with Socrates and in theory on paper Lichtsteiner, like
Isn't Xhaka meant to be your tough tackle?
yeah, he was meant. I think he was signed as that, but he's more of like he sprays the ball around. It's not really his. It's not
More,
really
more
that
of a
type
liability.
player.
Isn't it?
I can't pronounce that other guy. What's that? T something with an X or something. What's that other defensive midfielder that you got? That's pretty hard.
Oh, the
tackling.
Torreira.
Yeah.
He's a really good signing.
Torreira, I thought was a brilliant signing.
But there's a lot of grumblings between Arsenal fans that he's
Torreira?
he's not really all that. He's a bit like an alley, like a bit of a myth where everyone seems to think he's.
No,
I thought
but
Torreira
I think,
was
but it's
amazing at the beginning of the
He'll
season.
tackle, but he's not like the next ball was the issue. I guess he's not like a great ball player, but he is good at breaking up play. He's not like say Makelele will break up play and then he'll spray it in the right. Like there's not many players like that. I suppose like we're fifth instead of sixth. And we got to a European final, like which is it's a slight improvement on last year, but it's not enough to what we really wanted. The fact that we were so close to Champions League football in the league, and then Europa League, and we missed out on both. It's disappointing. But
Well, not as disappointing as my season. We nosedive from coming
we're
second.
talking about European finals, Shane. Just
He asked you about how his Arsenal season gone. What's that got to do with
Arsenal season.
Now, so what do you reckon? There's got any signings that you're hopeful for, or what's your thoughts?
We really need us to get in the Champions League. That would have really set us up nicely for next season. But
that's the weird thing, because in terms of Chelsea, yes, we're in the Champions League, but we might not be able to do anything with it because we got that transfer ban. Although I heard there's another
not
appeal.
doing the appeal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard they just
you lost an appeal. Like, you lost one.
We lost one, but
I'm sure there's another one.
There's one with
Court
Court of Arbitration,
That's
and
right,
I think
yeah.
you can go to.
But I suppose the more you appeal, the more it's delayed, I guess. So it might still.
I think that's what they just want
That's
to try
what
and get
that's-
over and done with.
But I agree with you. I mean,
Were you already banned once, like a few years ago? Did you? Were you
no,
banned?
but then they got thrown out, so that was another one.
Wasn't that Gail
Gael
Kakuta?
Kakuta.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be the next.
Yeah, what happened to him?
He just
I had
wasn't.
such big high hopes for him as well.
Yeah, but you
works
these
at
players
Shake
need to
Shack.
play though. He works in Shake Shack. But the players need to play when they're young, especially. Chelsea's youth setup, they're not really. They might, I suppose, what was the player that they bought to stop Tottenham buying them? Like back in the,
Willian, Oscar.
yeah, they bought a few, and I think they bought Salah to stop Liverpool buying them. But I think maybe those.
That worked.
Yeah. Well, you didn't use them, and then obviously, but
But a lot of those. I mean, I actually think this can sound quite controversial, but I actually think our youth system.
No,
it
no,
works.
yeah,
I agree. I think it works fantastic.
from a business perspective, but not in terms of player development, And I think
But I think that's changing.
But then, and also the thing is, not every player. Look, this is going to sound like a dig. It's not meant to be a dig. But Chelsea, being one of the biggest teams, to break into the
Michael Swiley, his face is prepared for the dig.
no, but to break into Chelsea squad, the first 11, that's a high standard. Like you look at. Was it Ake who was kind of a fringe player at ours? We bought him for whatever.
I quite like him actually. No, for
Yeah, I think we bought it from Gillingham or something for like 20k or I don't know the number. I made up that number, but we sold him for quite a bit to Bournemouth. Like it was a huge profit. And to be honest, do I think that he could ever come back and be a sort of a regular in a top 4 team? Not at the moment, and he's not that quality, but. The system is set up to churn out a lot of those products where they get in and then they go to sort of mid-table, lower sort of Premier League teams at Arsenal.
Yeah.
There it is.
I do think there is some slight change. And in terms of Sarri,
Fuck you,
I think
Jas.
you made a good point about him being torture genius, because if you look back at the season, Sarri didn't even have a pre-season. He didn't.
No, he didn't.
And then
He didn't,
to do that well, and I like the way that he does bring up the youth.
He didn't have a
He
pre-season.
doesn't like youth though.
No, but I thought he integrated Ruben Loftus-Cheek pretty well.
No, he could have played Hudson-Odoi way earlier. He was
No,
like.
but come on. I mean, Mourinho wouldn't have played him at all.
No,
I
that's
thought,
what I'm
yeah.
saying. I think a lot of our the system doesn't work with whoever we have in charge because they're under so much pressure to do.
That's my
Christensen's
point.
a
That's
good
my
example.
point, though. You're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
really there to develop the players in that way. So,
I actually think that's
at
like
Liverpool,
changing.
though, like say Alexander.
Yeah,
Arnold,
yeah. Yeah.
And I actually think that's what Sarri was there originally to do. And that's why I'm a little disappointed. Don't get me wrong, Sarri's never really taken to the Chelsea fans because he's
That's
not
the
that
big
likable.
problem.
Yeah,
No,
he's
yeah,
not.
yeah.
He's a decent
but-
person, you mean? Yeah.
Well, actually, I've heard he's not a decent person. Actually, some of the
In what
stuff.
way?
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, apparently he says, I don't know. I don't want to libel anyone, but
Just say
'cause-
allegedly at the end, everything will be
allegedly,
okay.
yeah. So
And you're all right.
apparently he's had some racist incidents back in Italy.
Really?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I don't know if you allegedly. And he's quite un-PC. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just says it, anything.
5-star.
Yeah, exactly. He's the start part of that old school kind of thing. And that's why I fully thought during the season he's going to say something, do something ridiculous, and just gets fired.
His English is so bad.
Yeah.
No one can understand the racist.
Is that
He
why?
probably is doing it the whole time. He just no one
Is
knows
that why I didn't want to play Hudson-Odoi?
Well, there was that theory
Oh,
about
really?
that. Like, he doesn't like playing black players. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And that's why he wanted to get rid of Kante, but he just couldn't do it because his Kante was too good.
I do feel
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I think actually the thing is with the transfer ban, I reckon we should just keep him for another season
Well,
if we can.
exactly. Yeah.
Salary.
And
I
then-
heard
yeah,
you already
for another
agreed
season.
for him to let him go. That's what I heard.
No, they've said that they won't stand in his way.
really? Yeah.
And I think that's the right thing because you don't want a manager who doesn't want to be
No,
there.
of course not. But if we were to go for Lampard, I think that would be the
Too
dumbest
soon,
idea.
too soon,
Yeah,
too soon,
it's like
I don't know. I'm
I
not
think
sure
it's
it's
a bit
too.
too soon
I
for
don't
Lampard.
think so.
I do.
I don't think so. I mean that guy. He turned Bielsa in fucking knots. He absolutely. It was like he set out his team sheet, and because they lost twice to Leeds, 3 times to Leeds, and was it an aggregate of like 9-1 or something over the season? And in that second leg when it really mattered, he set out his team sheet as a diamond, or no, he set it out as something or other. And when the game kicked off, he played a diamond, and Bielsa was like, "What the fuck's going on?" and he just literally like turned him in knots. And just those little things that you learn from playing under Ancelotti and Mourinho and all those
10
things.
other managers.
I think if
he's got potential. I
If
just
you've
think
got a
it's too
transfer ban
quick.
in, you're going to there'll be players like Mason Mount and all that that he's with now at Derby and all that, and so they'll obviously bring them back into the team. I think he'd be the ideal manager.
That's a good point.
The whole setup at Derby is basically a Chelsea.
Yeah, the logo
like
and
Jody
stuff.
Morris.
Jody Morris is doing the youth team. Yeah.
Jody Morris was really good at the youth team, wasn't he?
He was,
They reckon he is really, really good on that level, don't they? With like youth players and stuff like
The
that.
thing is that I'd love it, but my heart tells me it will end in.
I don't want it to end in Terry. And then John Terry comes in.
Can you imagine? Seriously though, the truth. Can you imagine like 2 seasons in, it's not going well. We have to fire Frank Lampard.
Yeah, that's
It'll
horrible.
be the
That's a
worst,
horrible
man.
thing. Yeah.
But I'm not so sure. I think he's destined for good things
Yeah.
because he's a really intelligent
And he's
guy
a
as
smart,
well.
exactly.
He's a smart guy. Yeah.
And you're right, Mike, because I do think he will have the respect and of the club, and he'll get that love. You know what I mean? So if things are going
From the
badly-
fans, though. Like, what?
Yeah, from
players.
he's got a total relationship with Abramovich.
Yeah, and actually, for how Chelsea's a bit like, I don't know, that they are they do extend a hand to like past players, like Czech's coming back now.
Yeah, Zola's back at the club.
No, to be fair, he was pretty.
No, but
good.
he's coming back like there was
Fabregas?
Fabregas coming back to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Really?
So
What's Fabregas doing at Chelsea?
I don't know. I think it's because he's on loan and he's-
Look at his face.
Yeah, no, but that's such a good point. When Fabregas left, he was more. I would say he's a Chelsea player.
What is he doing at Chelsea? Like,
I think it's just going to be an ambassador role, like Czech, basically.
You can't see,
But
but
ex-players want to ever go back to work.
Ed's got
Why would
that
you?
where he's seen an ex-girlfriend on
Wenger didn't really like
Facebook.
that. Well, Wenger likes certain players, but maybe not others. I don't know.
Vieira went to City.
Yeah, but Vieira then allegedly tapped up Nasri to go to Man City as well. So I'm not that big on him coming back after that, to be honest.
No, but we meant before. Like,
Yeah,
why?
No, to be honest, I don't know. I think like maybe
It's not a good
certain fuck you. Maybe certain.
No, but why would you want to go back there?
We got
For all the glory.
For all the trophies.
Nas been watching football since like 2003, so he doesn't really know
victories.
So he doesn't really know. Like Nav and Jas only been watching football since 2003, so they don't really know about.
Yeah, there's that other cliche. So you were with us when we were 13 years old.
In spirit. Yeah.
That's classic. I like that. For all the moral victories.
No, but it is good that Czech's coming back.
You Jas.
Oh, Kudicini's there still.
Exactly.
Yeah, quite good.
And the other got the.
Oh
He's on the
man.
bench. He's on the.
Kudicini, yeah.
Yeah, Kudicini's there. Yeah.
I thought Kudicini was a great goal.
I liked him.
Yeah, I
I
liked him
think
as
Pepper's
well.
more in the mould of Kudicini
Yeah.
because of that sort of reflex.
Is
sort
he a
of
coach?
stop-
Kudicini.
I think he's a goalkeeper. Well, he's
Yeah,
on
he
the
is.
bench with Sarri and.
He's a
Zola.
goalkeeping coach. Yeah,
And
I like
It's
him.
going to really annoy
He was
me
a great
about
keeper.
curly hair. The Portuguese keeper. He's in the backroom staff as well. He begins with H. His name.
Not Hero. Hilaro or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Do you know what the funny thing was about Rob Green?
Oh
lifting the trophy?
god.
I was like, what is he doing? I completely forgot about him. Me and Jazz were like, we're not that drunk. Are we watching this? What is Rob Green on the pitch for?
He is a shithouse though, Rob Green. He could have gone anywhere to play first team football, and instead he just decided, now fuck it. They're paying me
I'll be
like
number
triple
3.
my wages. I'll just sit on the bench.
This is a trophy.
No, so the point is that whilst Chelsea are quite ruthless and calculated in a lot of in the way that the businesses run, like the clubs run, there is a lot of sentimental value with bringing back old players, and so maybe you're right. Maybe there is a case for Frank Lampard being a success.
I think it'll be. It'll be a masterstroke.
We have. I think Ljungberg is a coach now. I think. Mertesackers like I think head of the
I
youth.
think
setup.
Keown was coaching for you for
Mertesacker's the defending coach.
Now that makes sense.
Is that why it's going so well?
World Cup winner Mertesacker. Yeah. No, but I think he's head of the academy or something like that. I think Perez has done. Yeah, Perez has done.
Ozil won a World Cup as well. What does that mean? Hugo Lloris has won a World Cup.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Oh, he's
Ryan
decent.
Bertrand has won a Champions League. Does that make him one of the best left backs ever?
Yeah,
No.
I say no. I'm
No, it
joking,
doesn't.
I'm joking.
No, it doesn't.
No,
Come on now. I hate those titles.
but like Mertesackers or like Lloris, they were key parts. They were key parts of that. They were key parts of the team. Just saying. But anyway, like.
So yeah. So what happened? Okay, so let's just quickly break it down then. So at 3, so by the way, guys, Shane and Ed watched it together, and then me and Jazz watched the game together. So Shane, what was Ed like when it was 3-0?
Well, I didn't see him for a lot of it. I ran away. But Yeah, he was pretty upset. He was pretty. I felt sorry for him, to be honest. He was pretty
Feel
upset.
sorry for me. Fuck you, man.
I did. All right, I'll take my sympathy. elsewhere. Fuck
Yeah, don't feel sorry for him.
Take your sympathy and give it to Michael.
I don't need it. I'm not that disgruntled. I'm not that upset.
Ed was pretty upset. We just had to leave straight away. No more drinks. That's it. Home time.
Oh yeah, what's the point, you know? But like, also,
That's true.
But you know
that's
the
true.
funny
There's no
thing.
point sticking
But I
around.
watched the game. in London Bridge with one of my mates. And I watched the
Shane.
one of my mates and Shane left as well. So yeah.
I left and then came back.
Yeah, so, and then watched the Champions League game with another mate, and then in both games there were fights,
Oh really?
and both the fights involved Tottenham fans.
Was they Tottenham?
Yeah, because remember that Gobby guy in London Bridge, he was wearing a Spurs shirt. I think, he was like.
See, I don't understand that. Why go out to watch Arsenal Chelsea and wear a Spurs shirt?
I don't know.
I don't
You're
understand
asking
it.
trouble,
Exactly,
I agree,
you are. You absolutely are. I just
But you
don't
know the
understand
funny
it.
thing was, he didn't even fight. It was his mate. He was sitting in between him and the other guy who ended up fighting.
Someone got ponged.
Yeah, it was this guy in a suit. He was obviously mates with the Spurs guy.
He was doing nothing.
He ended up fighting. And then the Spurs guy just gobbing off afterwards, just saying all this random shit. But
To be what was funny,
That's
actually,
silly.
me and Jazz actually ended up watching. I didn't know this was the plan, but we watched it practically in an Arsenal pub, didn't we?
Yeah,
it was
we
just
did,
me and Jazz. Yeah, but obviously Arsenal fans.
what area were you in?
Bank.
Yeah. And yeah, there was this one fan who was wearing an Arsenal top, and then Artuno just went to the toilets and just changed his top. and sat back down.
Did he come back out wearing a Chelsea shirt?
Like a half and half shirt, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's pretty bad. That guy, yeah. Fuck that guy.
Nah, I mean, in all seriousness, I thought obviously we were the better team, but I didn't think we would. I didn't expect that result. I thought we would win, but not like that. That was.
Didn't you say we thought we would win? And in last pod, what didn't you say?
No. Yeah, I was looking at the whole thing.
I feel like I'm the only one who went for Chelsea the whole way through.
I think.
And Jazz was quite confident as well.
I went 2-1 Chelsea, I think.
Yeah, I said 2-1 after in injury time though.
Yeah, so for me, because
I said 6-1, I think.
it should have been 6-1.
I was only 2 goals shy, damn it.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
But do you feel now, and this is a genuine question now, because remember, if
All your previous ones were just bullshit, yeah?
No. Oh, well, yeah, fair enough. But if you remember way back, we might not have even recorded it on a pod, I can't remember, but we might have just spoken about it in a pub. But I said to you that do you feel like the roles are reversing when it now comes to Tottenham and Arsenal? Right? So do you now feel that that's actually becoming a reality?
Nah.
You don't?
Nah, I don't.
Okay, all right.
As a Chelsea,
I think it is as well. I think this isn't just because it's Tottenham, Arsenal, or anything like that. And honestly, I swear to God, you know me, Edward. That's not the way I'm going at it. But Arsenal as a club and the fans, especially the fans, remind me of Tottenham from 15 years ago. And I've said this so many times. It's that whole, hanging out of car windows when you beat Tottenham. And then all the stuff that comes on social media from yourself as well, and in the group and all the texts and all that, when you go above us for 48 hours,
Ed's the worst in the group.
all that sort of stuff is what Tottenham fans done 15 years ago. But
I think
it's true though.
I think for me with that is why not give shit to your friends who support other clubs when you beat them?
No, I get it.
no, but we don't do that.
That's the mirror of Nav's response when you're like about the money. He's like, who cares? Why are you being such a knob? Who cares?
It's like that's
But I get it. I get it.
For me, that's almost what it's all about.
But Arsenal fans, but it is. That's what it's all about now.
I associate with Tottenham, United, and Chelsea fans just for those moments. But
But do you not feel though, within our group, you are the only one that does it?
Apart from Nav. Yeah.
No,
Nav, you're wearing a Chelsea
do.
shirt.
Yeah, but that's
you wore that just to annoy me.
No, but I mean, if we was to scroll,
No, but I didn't do it to Mike or Shane, and
if we was to scroll back through our group messages for the season, that's just gone, that literally all of the goading and all of the cheering and all of the from certain
all
results
from-
and games
It's
is all coming from Edward.
Always from Edward.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah, but
and that's how I envisage
maybe that's just me as a
Tottenham
person. You know?
fans.
Maybe I'm just that
But no, but
antagonising
it's
type of guy.
no. Because if you look at that Arsenal fan TV, they're all going mad. They go mad when they go above Tottenham.
There's a lot
and Guendouzi's hanging out of his car window when you beat us 4-2 at the
He's
Emirates.
connecting
You know,
with the
stuff
fans,
like that.
man.
No,
Like,
but
just chill out, mate.
come on, it's just
There's a lot of
you-
angry, bitter, jealous fans. That's what it
That's
is.
how Arsenal are defined to me. That is it. Yeah. Good-
because
good
you don't
summary.
you don't see Harry Kane hanging out of his car window when we beat you at Wembley, or you know.
But you do see him saying like, "What's it? Oh my god!" Like when he's watching the semi-final on his TV. Yeah.
What? Because we got through to the
Yeah,
final of the
he's talking
Champions
about
League.
he's happy.
And that was
Why is
amazing
that
as
good?
well.
But like, just like celebrating with the fans bad.
No, because he celebrated his own club. Like, you would celebrate the
but he's talking
demise.
about Guendouzi celebrating a win.
A win against Tottenham, and that's it. But right,
but
okay.
what's wrong? It's a local.
When you
it's our
beat
local
when you
rivals.
beat Man United, was he hanging out of his car window orchestrating a sing song?
To be honest,
No,
I
he
don't know.
wasn't.
I don't know.
No,
I
he
don't know.
wasn't.
I don't
No,
know.
and
Yeah,
you know
no,
exactly
no.
why he done it, because it was Tottenham.
Yeah, well, it's
and
our
even
local-
who
it's
was
our
it?
local
Who was it?
rivals.
Ozil as well said about being above Tottenham in a
It's
post-match
our local
interview.
rivals. What's wrong with that? I don't get.
Take
All
a chill
I'm
pill,
saying-
mate.
you don't have to
Be
get it.
cool like Chelsea.
All I'm saying is that it seems to me that the
fuck
roles have
Chelsea.
reversed from like 15 years. That's
No,
all I'm
no,
saying.
but-
Arsenal
I agree
as a
with you,
club.
Mike.
No,
And
but-
the fans especially.
No, but the thing is, like in the last 15 years, we still won a
Here
lot
we go.
more.
Here
Like
we
no,
go.
but no,
Yeah,
but in
yeah,
terms of
okay,
no,
yeah.
but in terms of
Yeah,
roles
that's fine.
reversal, like Tottenham didn't
Yeah.
really win anything. Like
Okay.
we're in our worst period and we're fifth.
right.
Like you're in your best period and you're fourth.
But how do you know this is our best period?
This is so far. This is your best period. Yeah,
Right.
this so far.
But
so
and
far-
how do you know this is your worst period?
Because so far,
you
no, but I'm
don't.
talking about so far.
Well,
if you're
but-
talking
yeah,
about
but you
roles
don't.
reversals and like
Yeah.
your worst,
But that's what I'm saying, from
at your
15
worst,
years.
you were struggling with relegation. At our worst,
Right.
we're struggling to get in the Champions League.
At your worst
there are
now.
standards. There's a pedigree. My favorite
Yeah.
word. There's standards.
Yeah, but that's fine.
So like
That's
so
fine.
like in terms of role reversal, if we're fighting for relegation,
Yeah.
then roles are reversed.
I'm not talking about role reversal
you
in that
said
sense.
role reversal, so I'm just using your words.
That's not what I'm talking about in that sense.
You set the tone of the conversation. I'm using
Yeah.
your.
You see how Aggie?
It worked.
I was like, okay, no, I'm not going to make any jokes now.
That's how he gets.
What do you mean?
That's how he gets.
No, but he's
That's how he gets.
We have adverts now.
No,
we
but
did.
Ed, just to be somewhat subjective, I'm trying to chill it out because I've quite enjoyed this podcast so far. But as a player though, Ed, say who plays for a really good player, plays for an Italian club, whatever. Which club would he be more attracted to going to, Tottenham or Arsenal? Would you say?
Tottenham in the Champions League. Yeah.
That's exactly. So that's probably what you're trying to get at, aren't you?
But then,
But yeah, but also what I was saying was about this whole thing with the fans, and you got that Arsenal fan TV where they're all on there when they go above Tottenham for
but we
48
talk
hours,
about
and
Arsenal
they're all
fans.
set.
Tottenham have fan
Edward,
TV.
listen,
though.
you can't shout over people just to get your point across.
Expressions.
Expressions, yeah. So it's not like we're the only ones who have that type of stuff, It's just
Okay,
we're,
right, yeah.
our ones are the
But
most
what I'm talking about, it's not about being the most popular. People watch it for a laugh.
Yeah,
don't
but
they?
I watch Arsenal fan TV.
Exactly, so do I, yeah.
That's true.
It's
That's
like got
true.
cult
No, that's
status.
true. That's true. But
Yeah.
we're not the only ones who do it.
And the question still stands: when you beat Man United in the FA Cup? In the FA Cup, was Guendouzi orchestrating a sing-song out of his car window?
No, they beat us in the league. We beat them in the
Was it 2-0 in the league, or whatever it was? Yeah. Was Guendouzi hanging out? That was at the Emirates, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was Guendouzi hanging out of his car window orchestrating a sing-song?
Probably not. But then
No, he
Man
wasn't.
United
But
are
then
Tottenham.
you rewind.
But Man United-
But you rewind, and you beat Tottenham 4-2, and he's hanging out of his window having a. And then you're saying about Harry Kane because his team's got to the
the
final of
point
a
you're
Champions
making
League.
is just like showing how the North London rivalry is meaningful.
All right, so
But it's meaningful for you now, but it wasn't
Yeah.
15 years ago. That's what I'm
because
saying.
You were shit.
That's what I'm
15 years ago,
saying.
and now you're
Yeah,
right.
exactly. So, but
that's the point he's trying to make.
That's the point I'm trying to
What I'm trying to
make.
make is that where they were 15. You said role reversal. So the point he's
Yeah,
making is that,
from the fans' perspective,
but
yes.
15 years ago, you weren't winning anything, and you were. And
No,
your
but there is a-
standards
there is
were
a-
like way down.
I'm talking about the fans. The fans. That's what I've said. Roles reversal with the fans.
Well, you should have.
So
been
your
more explicit
fans.
with the fans rather than.
I feel like I've said it like 15 times.
You just been
It's because
explicit
you
now.
keep talking, you can't hear it.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. Hey, this is a podcast. We're here to talk, mate.
Yeah, that's fine. Or just to listen to you.
Yeah. Just this is my
Anyway.
my podcast.
Yeah, so let's move on.
Tight men.
To be honest, yeah, okay. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to get so. Anyway, well done to Chelsea.
This is the last time that Nav chooses to.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
this is my choice.
He's only had one job.
I fucked that up.
Yeah, this is the Tight Men podcast, Ed's podcast with everyone else's guests. Yeah.
No, Ed, come on, don't be like that. No, Ed,
This is
no,
my
come on.
podcast. So yeah.
Yeah, no. All right, cool. Thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What did you say then? It's your podcast with guests?
Yeah. As you just said, yeah, because it's my podcast.
I didn't say it was your podcast.
You did. We're recording, mate.
I said it was you talking.
Yeah, as if it's my podcast.
Guys, come on.
We're only messing. Yeah. This should be.
I've got to go now anyway. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
I blame Jazz's host. I think the ambiance is alright. Mike's place is nice.
Well, I guess we're done, yeah.
Oh, sorry, no. You should probably stop it when I clap.
Oh.
Well,
No, let's leave all this in.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
How long